Hi, I'm Dr. Athena with Tele-PT, and I'm here in Savannah, Georgia, in this historical colonial memorial cemetery, where many of our American Revolutionary War heroes were buried. These burials are from 1700s, and it's just amazing to be here. It reminds me and makes me think a lot about the microbiome. You know, dust we're made of and dust will become after we die. And we are made of over 40 trillion different microorganisms, 39 trillion human cells. And that's, of course, just an estimate. The microbiome is made up of not just bacteria, but viruses and fungi. All of these microorganisms are essential for our well-being and our health. They aren't parasites. They're not like ticks and lice, but instead it's more like a mutual relationship where we benefit from them and they benefit from us. We're not the only ones that have a microbiome. All plants, animals, all life depends on that symbiotic relationship. In this magnolia tree, for example, the roots drop down deep, and in those roots they're layered with bacteria that assist this tree in turning some sort like inert nutrients into essential nutrients for this tree. And it's the same in us. They take our fiber, our castaways really, and they produce fantastic chemicals like short chain fatty acids, SCFAs. These short chain fatty acids are essentially anti-inflammatories in our body. So, big deal, anti-inflammatory. It's a huge deal. If we aren't having inflammation in our eyes, guess what? Our vision improves. If we're not having inflammation in our brain, we think more clearly and we have a better memory. We will also be able to have an improved mood. All in association with the health of our microbiome. They are turning our dietary fiber from our natural foods like fruits, vegetables, grains, whole grains, and legumes. Hello. Beans. They're turning these fibers into useful chemicals, and these chemicals affect our entire body from head to toe. We are learning so much. We hardly know anything, but we are learning so much about how our microbiome in our gut is communicating with our brain, and our brain is communicating with our microbiome. One of the things that is profound and true, evidence-based, is that our microbiome affects our anxiety and depression. So if you want to improve anxiety and depression naturally, start eating more dietary fiber, drinking more water, avoiding antibiotics. And because here's a myth buster, folks, when we take oral antibiotics, they don't target where our infection is. They systemically kill our bacteria. We have to weigh those pros and cons when we take those antibiotics. Another myth buster that I wanted to talk about is the gut cleanse. If you want to cleanse your body, give it healthy food on a regular basis. It doesn't have to be a day of gut cleansing and senna cleanse or a laxative cleanse and start over again. No, your gut will heal itself with a lifestyle change. Now, if you aren't willing to do that, then you won't get the benefits, those health benefits that you're seeking with that cleanse. So the gut cleanse is a myth. The best thing to do is to change your diet, your lifestyle, improve your sleep, get some exercise, and all of those things that we know we need to do in this day and age. Another myth buster about the gut is that we need a probiotic. We need to pop a probiotic every day, or take acidophilus or lactobacillus or all these other probiotics. That's a myth. We have those organisms already in our gut. What we need to do is feed them. How do you feed them? Focus on getting 30 grams of fiber, and that is the minimum. Years ago, and this is a real study, Dr. Robert Hutkins from UNL studied human excrement from thousands of years ago, and he found that the humans at that time were eating close to 140 grams of dietary fiber every day. That's right, 140 grams of dietary fiber. And I am asking you, and our FDA is recommending 30 grams of fiber. I think we can do it. What can you eat? We already talked about it, but just yesterday, I had a lovely salad. I'll just insert a little picture of it here, if I can, of like lots of different greens, like mixed greens, black beans, red onions, tomatoes, corn. There were like 4 piles of fresh pineapple on each corner of my salad. And I was just really impressed with like all of the fiber sources that were in this salad. I also had some jerk chicken on the salad. I ate at North Shore Bar and Grill in Tybee Island, and it was delicious, and I thought my microbiome is going to be loving me after this salad. So the last myth I want to bust before I close off this beautiful walk in historic Savannah is that our gut only affects digestion. That is completely false. Our gut affects our entire body and the health of our gut. Of course, everybody's heard, and you might even have been diagnosed with leaky gut. And that doesn't mean that you just have diarrhea. A leaky gut means that instead of those membranes being tight and keeping our external food out of our bodies, instead of those tight junctions and being stacked with microorganisms as guards, like 6 to 7 layers of bacteria, virus, and fungi that separate us, our internal body, from our external digestive system. That's right, I said that correctly. The digestive system from the mouth to the anus is considered external from our body. And so in addition to the membrane of the intestines, we have 6 to 7, it's not this thick, I can't make it with my fingers because it's so small, but these microorganisms are standing guard, and they're standing in the way between us and what might be brought in with our food, and what might be brought in, honestly, from our nose and all of the germs. if we don't have that tight junction and those guards, standing guard of microorganisms, then we are very likely exposing ourselves to the elements, and that could be infections that definitely are not mutualistic in nature, more like parasitic in nature. So work really hard to strengthen your gut, and it will improve your immunity, and it will improve your mental health as well. It will also decrease the inflammation in our bodies. If we don't have that inflammation, then we aren't having to replace cells over and over again. And what does that have to do with anything? Well, if you're replacing cells over and over and over again, that will lead to, you guessed it, cancer. Cancer is that mutation that occurs when the reproduction of cells is having to happen so quickly that errors are made, and more likely to occur if there is inflammation. So this gut health and the microbiome, true facts, evidence-based, we really have to take this a lot more seriously. And as a pelvic floor physical therapist, I 100% have bought in to this research and have found it to be true in my own life and with my patients. The benefits that they have had just by increasing their dietary fiber on a daily basis has been exceptional. And I recommend that all to you. Follow me at Tele-PT Pelvic. I'd be happy to continue to educate you on these walks about all things that are improving our health, our mental health, and our physical, even spiritual health.